Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name's Derek, and this is Fatal RPM. Now, yes, I'm wearing the same clothes as the last video. No, I am not a dirtball. It is actually the same day. I'm planning on uploading a little more consistently, at least until the beginning of next month when I go on that trip. That's only because I have so much to do. If I recorded an individual video for each one, then I'd have one upload a week for like the next month and it still wouldn't be up to date. So a little treat for you guys who actually watched. Sorry, my finger was bleeding. A little treat for you guys who actually watched this video. We're going to be doing a little bit of the wiring on the bike today. I'm not sure if I'm going to actually do regular turn signals or not, but I'll tell you the reason why I'm thinking that in my head once I have the parts in front of me, and it will make more sense the reason why I'm thinking about going against it. But I'm going to go out for a quick ride because still I miss it. And once I get back from the ride, I'm gonna pop off the little cowl and we'll bring everything inside and break it down.
12 seconds later.
Alright, so I just got back from my ride and I pulled the front cowl off of the motorcycle. This is what we got going on right here. So, there's a lot of shit going on. A lot of the stuff here is just kind of thrown on. When I got it, it looked bad. When I put in the other accessories, it looked even worse. And then I redid it and it looked better. But it can be done better. I want to make it look better than it could possibly look, or as good as it could possibly look. Now, as far as the turn signal thing goes, I don't know why I was saying I wouldn't be able to do it. For some reason, I thought that the turn signals, instead of being mounted here, as you can see, were mounted on the little fairing there, but they're not. They're mounted on the cowl. So, but this is the new one. I'm gonna have to find a way to permanently mount the mirrors to here, so that I don't ever have to worry about unplugging the mirrors independently from this, so I can wire them in together. So I need to salvage these guys, salvage this, clean up my headlight assembly, which has the projectors retrofitted in there. We'll have to line those back up once I get it on the bike, but salvage the mirror, clean everything up, and yeah. Alright, so got the headlight completely out, which needs a desperate wash. That is absolutely disgusting. But starting to transfer some of the stuff over. These, I think they're called speed nuts. That's what they're called here in the little parts kit I got. But you can see I got these anodized red screws to accent all of them. And this one I really liked because a lot of the screw kits didn't have a list of everything, or like a little diagram. All the ones I went through, they were like didn't include it, and I finally found one that did. So this is definitely worth it. It's 108 pieces, as you can see. All the possible pieces you need to put a fairing kit, or to put on a fairing. Put fairings on a motorcycle. There you go. That's what I was trying to say. But the fairings here, they have the inserts for the screws down here. Like you can see, these ones, maybe they were metal, they look plastic, but these have the little brass inserts so that I can mount the headlight to this. So the next thing I'm going to do is clean up this headlight and then get it mounted in there. I'm running out of space actually on the camera here, so I'm going to have to clear up some space and then we'll get back to this
Tomorrow.
Alright, so we're here on the next day. Now, I just want to break down exactly what I'm going to be doing here. So we're going to but we are going to make this look, instead of this rat's nest, make it look a lot more OEM. So basically, essentially what you're going to want to do is if you're going to do something like headlights, or basically anything that's going to replace an OEM part, like my headlights here, which is mainly the reason why the only reason this looks like this is because of these headlights. It has 3 different things. It has the projectors. They are LEDs. I'm not sure if you can actually see that in there. Let's see. No, but they're giant LEDs. I remember when I first installed them, they're about Like the actual diode is about that big. It's gigantic, and they're extremely bright. I got these off of eBay, but they have the LED projectors that also run the fans to cool them down, which is the reason why there's these open holes. I know it's not probably the best of cooling, but in order to keep water from getting in there, this is the way that I did it. So you have the LED projectors. You also have the halos, which are blue, which I'm pretty sure come off of this white sleeved cable here. And then you have the Demon Eyes, which is a red LED inside of projector. So whenever the lights aren't on, you can turn on the Demon Eyes, and it will make that entire projector glow red. But I did wire it up in such a way that I can see as long as I use my little wiring diagram here. So basically all I got to do is I got to go to this part of the wiring diagram, which is the headlights. So I've done this so many times. You're going to want to just like research, Google whatever it is, plus wiring diagram. And then we're going to come in here and we can see we have the headlight high, headlight low. So basically how this breaks down is G's for ground, which is green. And then the blue wire is the positive wire for the high beam. And then the blue with white wire is the low beam. So if we come over here, and I just got to locate my regular harness, the stock harness, which is this one. This is what the original bulbs went into. We can see here's the green wire, and then this one, if we look all around the wire, we can see this is the regular blue wire. So if we come back to our wiring diagram, we can see regular blue wire, this one's the high beam. So I'm going to take this part here, and we're just going to set this aside. So that's going to be the high beam. We're going to work on the low beam first. This one's the low beam. You can see there's a white stripe going down the blue wire. Now, essentially what we're going to want to do is you can do one of two things. You can cut off this lead, which is what I'm probably going to end up doing, and then soldering on your own connections. Or you can just splice into this. But if you splice into it, just make sure that you make it look nice with like a conduit cover or something like that afterwards, maybe even some electrical tape to make it look better so you don't get this rat's nest of wires. The best thing you can do is assemble the wires in a way of where you can take it apart and make it look nice afterwards. So basically what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to separate these wires and basically trace where I've gone before, or what I've done before. So this is a little bit backwards, but I'm going to have to undo a lot of stuff. What I need to find is, when I went back and did this, I went directly off this harness here, and you can see I used some speaker wire, and which is not a good thing to do. But you can see this one is the white and blue, so that's the low beam. So if we come, basically all we got to do is, I wrap this all on electrical tape. I just got to unwrap it and then trace this wire. This wire will be going to one of these, which will be the low beam. All right, so decent amount of progress has been made, even though it may not look like it, but a decent amount of progress has been made. Let's go from the top of the list to what I just recently discovered. So starting at the very top, the way I'm going to wire this up is, I wrote this all down here just so I don't have to keep going back and forth and looking. So I went and found the little wiring diagram. The brown wire is for my Demon Eyes. So this is my little wiring harness down here. So these brown wires are for the Demon Eyes. The blue wire is for the high beam. Green wire is for ground, and the white wire is for the low beam. So my idea here is I want my halos, which are these ones here, and I can tell again that they're halos because it says blue here, and the only thing that's blue on it is the halo. So I want my halos to come on when my lights should. I want to be able to toggle my lights. I don't know if I should toggle my lights with, I don't know if I should toggle my lights with the high beam or the low beam. I think I'll toggle my high beams with a switch on the side. All right, so actually I think how I'm going to do this is I'm going to intercept the headlight relay in here, which is this guy right here. And I'm going to come off the power wire going into it to power the wires to go to this, and that's going to go to a switch. So if I ever do walk away from my bike and forget to turn off my lights, it will automatically turn off with the ignition. But that way I'll be able to turn them on and off. Now with the low beams, I'm going to have it go to the regular low beam, and the high beam, I'm going to have them go to the regular high beams. What I need to do now is I need to isolate the wires and then splice into them. Now, something that I did find out is right here is my brake switch, or my turn signal relay. And there is a redundancy here. So there's actually this green wire here is not supposed to be here. So what I mean by that is in here, there's two little pins. And even on the wiring diagram, it shows two coming off, which is this white and green, and then this gray. This green is not supposed to be here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually cut this green, and I'm going to have all my grounds for my accessories, like my demon eyes, the angel eyes, go to this ground here. So I don't have to run another wire, which is what I used to have. I used to have another wire that went all the way down to the battery. So that I can eliminate that wire, I'm just going to go off this ground because it's a redundant ground. You can see there's those 3 pins there, but again, this one only has the 2. And even, I can't get it to focus in there without another light. But like you can see, there's not even a spot for another pin, so it's not like it broke off or anything. And again, on the wire diagram, it shows that it doesn't have that. So first things first, we are going to wire up the headlights, and then we're going to go to accessories. All right, so I got most of the connectors off and the wires stripped. This one here as well. So next thing I need to do is I pulled the ground from this terminal here. And how you do that is, you can see there are these little, I call them butterflies. I don't know if they're called butterflies or not, but you have these little butterflies and then these little, there you go, these little metal pins. Those basically go into a little plastic part under here. So what I was using was a little SIM removal tool, one of these things. If you bought like a Samsung phone or something like that, you should have one of these. But essentially what I did is I stuck it in from behind to push down the little plastic piece, because I was trying to do it from the front and it wasn't exactly working. I think that might be because I was pushing it the wrong way. But I got that ground off, so this is going to be the ground for all our accessories. Now I need to come off of the white wire, which is the constant power line to the headlight relay, and then it comes out to the blue for the low beams or the high beams. I'm not sure which one, but this is the constant power wire. So I'm actually going to pull this from here like this, just to make it a little easier to work on and strip the little wiring in there, and then we'll solder on the connection. All right, definitely not my best work, but the wire kind of got cut when I put that on there. Anyway, when I went to restrip the wire, I kind of accidentally cut the regular one. But let's put a little bit of heat shrink on here and then shrink it up. I think that's as shrunk as it's going to shrink. Good enough for me. All right, we'll let that cool down. While we let that cool down, run the wire. All right, so a bit of progress has been made. By a bit, I mean a lot. So I got a lot of the wires ran. Some of them are tied up. A lot of the wires are now tied up between this. I got the ground, low beam and high beam hooked up. The only thing I have left to do is the demon eyes for the brown wires, and then the angel eyes here. Now, the best way to get wire management done, in my opinion, would be to kind of come up with a plan in your head. If you can't come up with it in your head, try and find a way to get it down onto a piece of paper. Like what I would have did is I would have probably drawn like a little wing here for, or even like 2 circles with like a space in the middle, and then drew out the wires that I need to wire in. And basically how this is going to work is these are all hardwired in. The disconnect point is, of course, here. I have to still fix this with some electrical tape because there are some exposed wires in there. But the headlights are hardwired in along with the ground, which I put to the high beam ground since it's a little bit thicker, a little bit thicker gauge. I still have the other ground here that goes to the demon eyes. The boxes for the halos are down here. I'm gonna end up like getting some double-sided tape and gluing them down in there so that they're nice and neat. This will get wrapped up with some electrical tape when I'm done. And yeah, let me show you this, however, what I'm going to do with the switches. This here is going to get wired into the consistent power to the relay, so into the white cable from the relay. And then it's going to go out to the switch. And this here, I'm going to solder in another wire here, which I swore I just cut, but apparently, oh, here it is, right here. So essentially what's going to happen is I'm going to solder this on here so I can go to the other switch, and these will be the power lines to the switches. And then I have another white line right here that I'm going to use to go back to the angel eyes, and then I'll run a red one to go to the demon eyes. And let me just show you how to do some of this since I've basically been telling you and not showing you. So let's get a little bit more in depth. All right, so I got my little third hand set up here. Now, basically what we're going to want to do is this one here is going to be the wire that's going to the switch. So I'm going to take this and I'm just kind of wrap it around this guy here. I'm going to get it as tight as you can. Oh, excuse me. Get this as tight as you can. I'm going to hold this in here. This little tool here is invaluable. I swear. Now, what you're going to need, of course, is going to be a soldering iron. But more importantly, electrical solder. Now, you want electrical solder with a rosin core, as you can see. What the rosin is going to do is it's going to help it. It's going to help it get into the wires. So, whenever you usually do it, what would happen is glob up on top, but with the rosin, it will get in between the wires and it will pull the solder down in there. Now, you usually want to start off with a pre-tin tip. As you can see, I still got mine tinned up here. Just put a little bit more on there, get some fresh rosin. And then we're just going to touch it to the wires, go behind, and tap that on there. Put a little bit in, and there you go. You got a soldered wire. As simple as that. Now, you can always go, if you don't feel secure with it, you can always go behind. But 9 times out of 10, this is going to be more than strong enough to help out or to keep it on there. So what I'm going to do is go from here, get the angel eyes finished up and soldered in, and then this will be officially done, and we can hook it up to the bike. All right, it's all done. Everything is wired up. If I just spin this around, you'll see everything's all wire managed. I'm not going to seal these up quite yet, and the only reason why is because I still need to get these wired into the plugs. But I had to swap this wire over because I actually had the wrong one. I had the power cable with these, or I had the switch to the angel eyes with these two on here, and I just need to swap that over to this one. So this is going to go, this is the main power. This goes to the angel eyes, or the halos. And this one here goes to the demon eyes. I cut this one a little short. I will extend it as I need. I don't want to waste any more wire. The very last bit of wiring I'm going to have to do is actually going to be the turn signals. When I'm putting this on the bike is when I'll do that, because the turn signals are going to be what's going to hold this in on the motorcycle. So we'll get to that. But yeah, really, that's about it. I'm liking the way it looks, especially with the anodized red. It actually goes really nice with that. I'm thinking about going against wrapping it for now. What I'll do is I'll just sand down some of the rough parts like this and try and make it nice and smooth. Any scratches or anything, try and polish those out. But I'm really liking the way this looks. Looking good to me. As always, guys, thank you for watching the video. If you liked it, go ahead and leave a like down below. Give me a comment on what you thought about everything. If I If you have any better tips as far as soldering and stuff goes, also leave it down there for anyone who's researching anything like that. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click the little bell icon. Click the little bell icon right next to the subscribe button just so you can get a notification whenever I drop a new video. Again, thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.